So today on Aviation Marketing TV, we're going to actually talk about product demonstrations and how you can improve your sales presentations by actually making them physical. Now, a lot of people will pay a lot of money to be physically present at a trade show or in somebody's office, and then they will just stand there and talk as if, you know, that's something that they could do over the phone or over the internet. If you're going to pay the money to be there in person, then by all means use everything you've got at your disposal, and be resourceful with what you have. And an example that John actually does really well of this is when he is in the market for somebody to take care of his airplanes, he does something that's kind of peculiar. What is that?
Well, I had an experience with a previous lease agreement, which turned out okay, but it might not have, so for future agreements, I detail out in the contract excuse me, exactly what I'm expecting if there's an incident and the aircraft is damaged. As it happened, one of my contracts, somebody drugged the tail of one of my airplanes and caused some damage, as you can see here. It rubbed the tail hook off and went through this and into the tail. So what they did,
So if you hand somebody a bulkhead, it will get their attention, as opposed to just having words in the contract. So, you know, this is something that really gets people's attention.
what I wanted done, and what they did, was I wanted it put back to Cessna factory specifications. And I've got pictures taking every 20 minutes roughly of when they disassembled the tail and measured it, put the new parts back in, and then actually set it up into a jig so that it was aligned properly, and then they painted it Cessna color. Now this whole thing ended up costing quite a bit of money, even though the insurance paid it. But except for the logbook, you can't tell the aircraft has ever been damaged because it's brand new all over again.
Right, and it's one thing to say all that, and it's quite another to actually physically, hand somebody a piece of an airplane and say, "Don't do this."
Or if you do, this is what I expect, and that's why it's written into the contract.
Exactly, and why we know exactly what we're talking about, because we're not just talking, we actually have had that happen.
Exactly.
And the pictures are another great option because they show, and again, if you can do something physical, that's great. If you can't do something physical, then pictures are great. Video is fantastic. Words, if you're going to have to use words, you want to be descriptive with the words and not just dry and professional, which is something that everybody in aviation seems to have a tendency to do.
As an aside, watching the process of the disassembly and then the reassembly and taking pictures along the way, it's quite educational.
Now you might be thinking, well, that's great, but my product isn't physical. It's not something that's easily demonstrated. And we actually had a trade show not too long ago where we had to demonstrate the concept of information assurance. Now, I can't imagine something that is less visual and more dry. And this is at a trade show. This was actually at a military trade show where they have all of the shiny toys and exploding things and fabulous stuff that people want to see. And here we are in a booth trying to sell information assurance services. But what we did is we hired Diamond Jim Davis, who is a fantastic magician. He's probably the best person that I know at this particular concept, which is being very resourceful with what is in his immediate surroundings and demonstrating a concept physically. So, you want to tell him about some of the tricks he did?
Well, prior to that, he actually worked with us for several days to understand the concepts and how they fit into the process and procedure, so that during his exhibitions of various and sundry card tricks, he was actually selling the concept to people. And yeah, I mean, tricks, unbelievable. He would take 5 $1 bills from somebody and turn them into 5 $100 bills. and then back again and give them back their $1 bills.
Exactly. Or else he had a hand of cards, and he asked somebody to pick a card, and he said, you're absolutely sure that you have that card. And then he would find it somewhere else in the crowd. You think you have control of your information, but you're not assured. This is talking about information assurance. You think you have control of what you got in your hand, but you really don't.
Right.
And so, it really brought that point home to people in a very physical way, as opposed to just standing here talking about information assurance and threats from computers and, things that will put people to sleep.
And to drive that home a little more, while this was going on, I walked back over to an area where the president of the company was actually up on a platform and viewing the entire area of all the exhibitors, and he said, "Do you notice anything about this?" I said,
and this is our client, so we're
"It's
going,
our client." I was saying, "I noticed many things. What do you notice?" And he said that our booth is the busiest booth in the whole place. And I looked, and he was correct.
Yep, everybody was lining up to see Diamond Jim Davis and the card tricks. So, you can take a concept like insurance, like information assurance, like marketing, like statistics, anything that you need to demonstrate, you can find a way to do it if you think like a magician, or think about physical objects and physical things that you can use to demonstrate that concept.
The old cachet, think out of the box is germane here.
Exactly. And you think, well, my customers are sophisticated, intelligent professionals, they're not into card tricks. Bullpuckies, everybody's into card tricks. And if you're at a trade show, people will do what's fun. So, fun is highly underrated in marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you do a physical demonstration of your product, you want to make the very best use you can of what's available. And you may be in your prospect's office, or you may be in a hangar, or you may be on an airfield, or you may be at a trade show. In either of those cases, you've got some amount of space and some amount of time and some materials at your disposal, and you want to use those to the best of your ability. And so to do that, you want to think like a performer, or think like a magician. And even if you're in a restaurant, you can do this with salt shakers and straws, or whatever you can do to illustrate how your product is better than the others on the market. So think along those lines. Think about, how can I demonstrate this product using what I'm likely to have at hand at the time that I meet with the client. And the more creative you can be, the more memorable that demonstration is going to be. So you want to show rather than tell, and in order from the most to the least effective. Obviously, in-person physical demonstrations where the prospect is the person participating in the demo. If you're demonstrating software, put it on a computer, set it in front of him, make sure he's using the keyboard and the mouse. Make it so that he's the one that's performing the action. That's the very most powerful way to demonstrate a product. Or put it in his hands, whatever the product is, and let him do the work. That really is the very best way. If you can't do that, you can do a descriptive live video where you take a video of someone using the product or showing the benefit of that. In some cases, you've got an abstract product like insurance, or some kind of a product that's benefit can be shown with statistics or something like that. You can have animated charts and graphs that kind of bring some life into that abstract concept, and that really helps a lot in making it compelling and keeping people's attention. Next best would be photos, still photos. Everybody's got a camera on their phone these days. So if you've got professional photography, that's fantastic. If not, do the best you can with lighting, and taking some really good clear photographs, and that make your product really attractive. Last is descriptive text. So even if you're just writing about your product, you want to tell a story or describe vividly. You still want to think in terms of showing rather than telling. So you want to show how it works rather than tell, even if it's just using words. So Web TV is actually, or aviation marketing TV, is just a taste of what we offer in our coaching program. And the reason that our coaching program is so cool is because we really help your staff become the marketing experts. And your people know your product best. They've been working with it. They've been working with your customers. They know what's great about it. They know what its strengths and weaknesses are, and they know how to demonstrate it. We can just perfect their skills just a little bit. Sometimes that can make a really big difference in their performance as salespeople and your performance as a salesperson, and that can make all the difference in your company's success. So the coaching program includes monthly webinars, and those are hour-long webinars usually, and they're interactive, so you can participate in those. Q&As, individual assistance with projects, workbooks that are about 20 pages long, and recordings. And we're going to be including courseware starting in 2013, so we're really excited about that. We also offer continuing education credits, PDUs or CEUs, whatever it is that your professional organization requires for continuing educational credits. We're accredited with a lot of those organizations, or we can fill out the paperwork for you to make sure you get the credit that you need. Just let us know which organization you're working with, and we'll help you take care of that. So here's what clients say about the marketing masterclass. 100% say they would recommend it to others. 100% say this lesson was a good value for the investment. They all say it saved a lot of time over figuring this out myself, and wish I'd started sooner, and that's really what we're looking for with that class. We really want to save you time and money in your marketing efforts. So how do you get started with the Marketing Masterclass? When you're ready, go to aviationbusinessconsultants.com or abci1.com and go to the Masterclass tab, which is right here, and you'll see this page, and you'll want to see this section down here where it asks for a promo code and it has a subscribe button. If you enter the promo code December, we will send you a free marketing toolkit of your choice, and we'll send you a catalog so you can choose the one that you prefer.